fight week. How's this one a bit different?
My trainings have been earlier. I've kind of switched them around. So my boxing session has been first. The kind of cardio session has been second. And yeah, that's kind of like the main difference.
Are you enjoying fight week?
It's the time where your body's feeling really sharp and things are kind of all coming together. The dieting side of it, I don't really enjoy. The having to watch how much you eat, because I love to pig out on a lot of meat. It's not that I eat unhealthy, it's that I like to just eat very large portions, and now I have to cut down the portions, so it's getting a little sad.
Tell us a little bit about Bo Belbin. What do you know about him, and what have you been studying?
He's someone that he moves a lot. He moves a lot with his upper body. He moves his head a lot with his punches. He throws combinations. He moves around a lot. So that's kind of what I've been prepared for. But I've also been prepared for anything in between.
And do you it's one thing to move around and have that skill. Do you think he has sort of the power at that level from what you've seen?
Well, he's had quite a few knockouts. I think it's like 5 knockouts or so. So he definitely does possess the power. But it's my job to disable that side of him and to not let it become like a firefight.
What's it like fighting on the? You've mentioned a few times. What's it like fighting on the same card as your brother for the very first time?
It's honestly doesn't feel like it. Like, I'm so zoned into this fight that I do know that Tim's fighting, of course, but like as he said, this is the main thing that I'm focusing on as well. And my main job is to focus on Bo. And it's only after my fight that I can actually really understand, oh, Tim's actually fighting as well. So, yeah.
Obviously, we heard from Boris and Igor today. You know, two of the, arguably the closest sort of men outside of obviously your father as well in your life, that especially around boxing. What about the rest of your family, your sister, your mum? How are they going to deal with the fight of not one but 2 brothers?
Not my problem. It's for them to deal with. I've got a job to focus on. But nah, I'm sure they're going to be fine. My mum, on the other hand, I don't know about her. She's a stress head. Actually, my sister, she's a stress head as well. She gets very loud during fights. So who knows? I reckon they're going to have to bring a spare change of clothes to swap out all the sweatiness.
Your fighting style at the moment?
So I don't even like to put like words into what kind of style I have. I like to think that I'm always changing, I'm always adapting. That I've got so much to learn. I'm still in the early stages of my boxing career, so there's so much for me to kind of change, so much for me to kind of adjust. So yeah, I can't think to myself to give myself a kind of a strict rule book of what I am, or a guideline of what I am, what kind of style I have, because there's so much I'm trying to learn, and there's so many kind of case studies that I've been watching of different fighters, different styles, that I'm trying to take in and absorb as much as I possibly can to have just the archive of information in my head to be able to adjust to anything.
And who are some of those fighters you've been looking at?
For this fight? Big one was actually my dad. I haven't really watched much of him before, but I've been watching quite a bit of him, how he fights southpaws. Just because, yeah, I don't know, it kind of just popped up into my head, and I was like, oh, I have a father who was a world champion. Why am I not watching his fights? like my uncle, he teaches me the same kind of stuff that he's learned from my dad. So when I start to see him fight, I'm starting to see the same kind of tactics that I'm learning from Igor that have been obviously adjusted to the way he does things. So that's a thing that just his style in particular has really kind of grounded me a lot in the kind of the family's tactics and how the family wants to fight. Like what pleases my grandfather, what pleases my uncle was something that my father laid out.
I need you to show me your face. It went black. So
That's all right.
just give me the
There's only a couple more questions.
Last couple.
I have the victory one. If you give me that, that's fine.
Yeah. What does a win on Sunday? What does victory mean to you?
Another step closer to becoming a better version of myself. It's the kind of it's the proof I need that I can continue in the sport.
Have you doubted yourself along the way?
Of course, you always got to doubt yourself. I feel like if you're not always, I like to overthink things a lot, and I think it's important to always think through different kind of ways of thinking, being positive about yourself, but also being negative. Because when you think things through a negative stance, you really start to think about how to change and how to become better. Because you want to break that negativity, you want to break those poor aspects of yourself. If that makes sense. Yeah.